Alright YouTube, so we are back of course to talk about some Final Fantasy, and we are once again discussing State of Play, and what we have today is, it's a leaked set list for the event, and I want to emphasize, air quotes, leak, because these happen all the goddamn time, and they're almost never real. And when I say almost is because these lists are usually based on what like the community's discussing or thinking about or speculating is going to be at these gaming events. And they kind of curate the list to that, and that way aspects of the list are going to be accurate, but the whole thing is not. Now, regardless of the legitimacy of this list, it does have a lot of people talking today, and I did want to discuss it, mostly because a couple things about it did stick out to me. So going back to what I just said about how people kind of curate these lists based on what the community is discussing or thinking, this list doesn't have anything Final Fantasy on it, which I thought to be weird because we don't necessarily expect a Remake Part 2 to be there, but there's speculation on that. But the main thing is, a lot of us do expect 16, because we know there's a 16 trailer. We've been told by Yoshi P that there's a 16 trailer that should be shown sometime soon. So we're all kind of expecting it to be at State of Play. So if you're going to fake a list, I don't know why you wouldn't include 16. The other thing that really stuck out to me, and it's something I don't know that I've ever seen with like a leaked list for any sort of gaming event, is that there's actually time codes and like what the trailer's supposed to be, as in like it's an announcement trailer, it's like just a story trailer, or the first trailer the game's ever received, stuff like that. And I can't recall ever seeing that before. So if it's a fake list, which it most likely is, it's a pretty in-depth one. So we're just going to take a quick look at the list, read over the names of the games that are going to be there supposedly, and then I guess we'll just kind of talk about it, whatever. So according to this list, State of Play is going to have Project Destructive, Stray, Street Fighter VI, Project Eve, Forspoken, Little Devil Inside, Tachia or some shit, PlayStation VR 2 Overview, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 plus PlayStation VR 2, Resident Evil Village Last Hopes Update plus PlayStation VR 2, Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, PlayStation VR 2, Demonium, PlayStation VR 2, and then Resident Evil 4 2023, so the Resident Evil 4 remake. Here's the problem with this particular list is that the other day when we got the State of Play revealed, they already kind of told us what it's going to be, like third-party games and some focus on the VR 2 shit. So it's kind of easy to fake a list for this because we already know what's going to be there. Like if this list had come out prior to there ever being a State of Play reveal, and they predicted, VR 2 shit and third-party games, and then we get an actual State of Play like announced, and then PlayStation says, hey, we're going to have third-party games and VR 2 shit, then it would add some credibility to it. But making a list after the fact, especially after knowing what the event's mostly going to be about, it's kind of hard to take it any serious. The other thing that stood out to me was the Modern Warfare 2 being on the list, but also with like VR 2 with it. Like they're going to do VR with Call of Duty, which I don't think they've ever done before, if I'm not mistaken. I've followed the Call of Duty series for quite a while. I don't think they've done VR. Could be wrong there. But it turns out that that's actually kind of already a thing based on not necessarily a leak, but like somebody's seen like the Modern Warfare 2 on the PlayStation Store. And if you head over to the health, ratings, privacy terms section, there's actually a safety notice for the VR headset, kind of advising players to use it safely. So this is already a thing that's out there, already information, a rumor, whatever you want to call it, that's out there. So again, nothing original for this list. When it comes to this particular list, outside of the games that we already know exist, like Stray and Street Fighter VI and shit like that, I think the Resident Evil 4 remake is possible, just because I see people talk about it all the damn time. Like, I see it on my feed all the time, people talking about the potential for RE4 remake. But also we know that's going to happen eventually. I mean, they've already remade, Resident Evil 2 and 3. Like, it's only inevitable. Resident Evil 4 is probably the best game in the entire series, right? Like, that's been a thing forever. They've, put that game on damn every platform at this point. So I wouldn't be surprised with how successful Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes are that they would eventually make a 4. Now, as for there being no Final Fantasy at this event, potentially, like, that's not impossible, just because we don't know what they want to do with 16. Like, they might want to drop a trailer, but maybe they want to drop a trailer at an event and then talk about the game a lot. Like, we talked about this with the last video, where they need to do like a big kind of showcase for this game at some point. They need to explain combat to us, character progression, equipment, exploration in the world, and shit like that, right? They need to explain this game to us at some point. So maybe they don't want to do just some sort of like a reveal type thing at State of Play. Maybe they want to have a bigger showcase somewhere else. So it's not impossible. I do still expect 16 to be here. Now, of course, when it comes down to it, I don't think that this list is legit, because these are never legit. They're never 100% accurate, and even if they get some stuff right, it doesn't mean like they had some information that was correct and some that was wrong. Also, it's a picture of a screen, and it's like a Microsoft Word document or some shit. Like, it's 100% fake. That being said, we have been burned a lot in the past, expecting 16 to be at gaming events, and also a little bit of 7 Remake, of course, and they just haven't happened for a long time now, for getting close to almost 2 years since 16 was revealed. Year and a half or some shit like that, right? A little over a year and a half. It's been quite a while, man. We haven't had anything for 16, but we know that we're getting something for 16 sometime soon, which is why we're expecting it at State of Play. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's not here. If they want to save the 16 trailer or reveal or second trailer, whatever you want to call it, for a different time somewhere else, that's possible. But also with it being a PlayStation 5 exclusive game, I don't know why you wouldn't want to have it at a State of Play. Plus, it's nice to have big announcements or reveals at these events, which I've had in the past, obviously, periodically throughout the last couple of years. But sometimes, like the last couple of state of plays, for example, have, at least for me and a lot of people within the community, have been underwhelming. And not just because there wasn't Final Fantasy at them, it's just they've not been that interesting. But also, I'd like for it to be this event just to get it out of the way, man. Rip the goddamn Band-Aid off. We've known that they wanted to show the game for a long time. Like, Yoshi P wanted to show it as far back as, like, Tokyo Game Show last year, but didn't know if they could. We know that now there's a trailer. And that was like, what was that? Tokyo Game Show was how many months ago at this point? Like, we know they're ready to show the game. They have stuff to show for the game. Even if it's not, like, super, super close, like, you can still show it. I know Yoshi P's mentioned in the past that he wants to, like, talk about it again whenever they're closer to releasing the game. But at this point, you showed the game to us a year and like 8 months ago or some shit, and it's been dry ever since. Like, I would rather have something, even if the game's kind of far off. I would rather have periodic, like, updates than just nothing for a very long time. So even if the game is not coming out till, like, way later this year or something, or maybe even early next year, give us something still. Like, Jesus Christ. But my dudes, that is going to be pretty much the video. Of course, pass off to you guys when it comes to the State of Play set list with time codes and the style of trailer that they're going to be. What are your thoughts? What it really comes down to is the very first thing on this list is Project Destructive. That's going to start at 0 to 2 minutes and 13 seconds. A 2 minute and 13 second trailer, announcement trailer for Project Destructive. If that's not the first thing you see at State of Play, the list is fucking fake. That's all I gotta remember. Just remember that one game. The first thing that we should be looking for is Project Destructive. Anyways, dudes, that's going to be the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you guys aren't want to stay more State of Play set list leaks. Turn on notifications. Follow me on Twitter, @YT, and my Discord. Links to the networks are in the description. And in the outro. Later, guys.
Used to care what people thought, but now I care more, and nobody out here's got it figured out. So therefore, I've lost all hope of a happy ending, depending on whether or not it's worth it. So insecure, no one's perfect. We spend it with no shame. We blow that like Coltrane. We in here like Logain, or leave it like Cobain.